Look who's back. Returning to the big game with a fresh chance to avenge their former selves, San Francisco are as hungry as ever to finally finish the job. Fighting through a number of injuries and changing personnel, the creatively coached 49ers have remained atop the NFC over the past 5 seasons. But the Lombardis managed to elude them at every turn. With an engine to run the attack, a plethora of playmakers, and the best QB of the Shanahan era, are the Niners finally ready to climb the mountaintop? Let's dive in. Anyone who tells you running backs don't matter doesn't know what they're talking about. Christian McCaffrey's second year in the Shanahan stable had him produce an all-time season. Ferocity through the tackles, round the edge, out the backfield, and deep downfield. There's simply nothing CMC can't do at the highest level. And when you combine this with great scheming, boy is their offense hard to stop. The Niners never stay still, frequently shifting and motioning to win the numbers battle and out-angle their opponent. Kittle first shifts sides, moving the linebackers, before Chris Conley fly motions across the formation, with McCaffrey being given the ball on the split zone action. Kittle's shifts creates better angles in the box, and Conley removes DeAndre Campbell with his motion, leaving 5 to take on 6 blockers. The slot desperately tries to run blitz, but his angle is too acute and McCaffrey is running through a big gap. If you create alleys, he will find them. Juszczyk will start split out wide, but motion to fullback, and the Niners all signal the same read, and that the toss left has the numbers advantage. Woolen reads this well and sends the run back inside, but he's got no chance to penetrate and stop this with Juice coming at him at speed, and the line have done a fantastic job to climb and create a lane. McCaffrey's fast feet find him the daylight, and then spotting the over pursuit, redirects from his initial want to go boundary, cutting middle and into wide open space. Phenomenal hustle from the all-effort, all-pro Ayuk, and McCaffrey gets inside the 5. It's not just jukes and speed though. He's got tremendous toughness through contact. 7-on-7 in the I formation has McCaffrey with the lane to hit at speed, and even with the safety meeting him in the hole, Christian simply disregards Darnell Savage. And watch the elite contact balance, managing to sharp cut round a second attempt while bouncing off balance on one leg. And he loses no speed, putting on the Jets to take it home. I don't think this man's human. Again, the Niners never stop moving to out-angle the defense, putting great blockers in motion to make them even more deadly. Debo starts wide, but motions into the slot, creating the angle for the down block, and Shanahan puts his Swiss Army knife Juszczyk in motion, allowing him to clear out the end and create an alley for Christian. McCaffrey maneuvers through the blockers, cutting out and in to use the space efficiently, then shows more excellent strength, stiff-arming Bobby Wagner to the ground and rumbling for 10 more yards. That contact balance and power means even if everything's not blocked perfectly, McCaffrey will simply run through you. The toss is perfect for this because even if blocked poorly, it usually requires a one-on-one tackle in space. And 95 just isn't up to the task here, getting shrugged aside as McCaffrey puts him on his back in the 4th quarter. And his bulldozer abilities make him the perfect drive finisher in the lower red. Bring your squad or get run through. These fast feet and sharp cuts transition seamlessly to the air, providing true dual threat ability. Out the backfield on the option route is practically a cheat code, giving McCaffrey the choice of direction to lose his defender. When Woods stays static on the stutter, McCaffrey leaves him for the boundary, catching a well-timed pass from Purdy for the first. Against a one-high look from the Eagles here, McCaffrey will bump motion left, shifting to a more advantageous angle and showing the man coverage. It looks like he's going to be running the out off the option route again, but his stutter sets up the wheel this time, turning the backer inside out and freeing himself for a perfect catch in stride and 30-yard gain. And he can do it from out wide too, just running a basic hitch here, working back to the ball when he doesn't receive it immediately like a true receiver. Besides the ball handling, what really defines McCaffrey as a star is the way that his gravity affects the offense. His presence is enough to make a defense flinch, and with so much attention assigned to him, motions and shifts easily reveal coverages. Here, McCaffrey is sent on a swing motion that not only shows the man coverage, but creates a pick in the process. As the ball is snapped, the linebacker practically runs into his teammate desperate in pursuit, which creates a grand opening for Jawan Jennings that's perfectly taken advantage of by Purdy. Starting in a 1-4 split, McCaffrey will motion boundary to go empty, and with nobody following and corners wide covering him and Juszczyk, it's easy for Purdy to read the zone. Debo runs a little curl route to pull the backers down, and Kittle will work into the intermediate space behind, receiving the ball of a well-timed pass from Purdy under pressure. And here's more bump motion this time, creating a pseudo bunch. Again, with nobody tracking, Purdy can read this is zone and takes a house shot. The Seahawks actually bring a simulated pressure by sending the backers and dropping the ends. And this forces Jamal Adams to sink lower in case there's a quick threat middle. But this leaves him flat-footed against the deep over, and the protection gives Purdy time to rainbow this up for the 59-yard score. It's not just McCaffrey, everyone's shifting around for confusion. First, McCaffrey bump motions before coming to a pause, before Debo then short shifts in to create a bunch. Patrick McQueen left the middle of the field to follow Christian, meaning Kittle's dig cuts him wide open across the middle for Brock to hit in stride. And oh yeah, a player of George Kittle's caliber is somehow the fourth best player in this offense. Fourth. Here, Shanahan puts the Eagles in a spin cycle to create an easy one-on-one throw for Ayuk. First, McCaffrey is shifting out of split backs to become the slot, before Debo looks to motion across the formation, before curling back behind Brock on the orbit motion. All this is simply distraction, and to bring the defense towards the 4 strong though, opening a pitch and catch out for Ayuk and Purdy. Over the course of the year, there's been a great debate amongst the football fandom of where exactly Purdy falls on the QB scale. Surrounded by serious talent, the label of system QB is easily assigned. The level of processing, anticipation, and bravery put him way above any derogatory term. He's a baller, plain and simple, and someone who can win you the game. Anticipation in big moments is what we look for when evaluating high-level QBs. And here it is from Brock. The 49ers will play action to suck up the underneath level, and Ayuk will run a deep crosser aimed to stretch that middle field safety, creating a big window for Samuel to cut into. You've got to feel this coming open, and Purdy does this by throwing the next passing window between the backers, hitting Samuel perfectly in stride for the big first down. Combining anticipation with both pre- and post-snap reading, here's another dime from Brock. Juszczyk will first motion from wide to H-back, and then McCaffrey will pseudo-replace him with the swing motion. And with the Seahawks staying completely static, this is zone. To work out what zone though, Purdy's gonna read the weak side safety, who is usually the initiator of any form of roll. With Love stepping downhill to fit the hook curl, Purdy reads the cover 3. And with Love's attention on the trip side, he knows he can fit this skinny post in behind him, throwing before Ayuk is even out of the cut, hitting him right between the numbers. And here's more good reading with an even ballsier throw. It's McCaffrey again, motioning around the offense like a kid who's eaten too much candy. And with nobody again tracking him directly, Purdy pulls off a great read of the quarter's coverage. He knows Nixon will stay low for any inbreaker, and that the safety responsible for the number 2 receiver will be giving up leverage. Throwing this before Jennings has even cut, firing a perfect precision strike into the heart of the zone without being able to step up. And this always surprises me when I turn on the Purdy tape. His willingness to throw through contact. He shows the bravery and willingness to take shots while they take shots at him. And honestly, a lot of guys at the NFL level just don't have that quality. Kittle's gonna cross the robber defender here and be clear on the over route, but the defender's fast approaching on the rush. Yet Purdy isn't phased, fading back slightly and ripping a dart to his tight end, hitting him in stride and allowing him to show what a yak monster he is. And here's an even more outrageous throw to his third read under pressure. Ayuk's trying to run the coverage off for the dig routes, but the underneath levels stay deep enough to be all over Debo. So Purdy steps up through the pocket, knowing he's got to go past the sticks on 3rd down. And then, while getting crunched, attempts an absolutely ludicrous pass to Jennings on the 2nd dig, throwing this up and over the outstretched Nixon right into the hands of his receiver. Ridiculous. After all the talk of Purdy playing within a system, it was his willingness to step outside this that has them in the big game. On 2nd and long here, Purdy is quick to realize that they aren't going to have the look they want, with Debo clamped and Ayuk out-leveraged, so makes the decisive decision to call his own number. Squeezing through the gap, Purdy shows good vision to use Kittle as a blocker, and then with the season on the line, refuses to slide, trying to get every yard possible. Having tied the game up on the previous drive, this was now Purdy's chance to secure the lead. The slot blitz has him off, missing Jennings to the boundary, and the ferocious rush shuts down any chance to reload. Realizing the play's broken, he out-jukes the next oncoming rusher before taking off middle, going head first, showing complete disregard for his body. Usually, this ain't the way to play, but fuck it, it's playoffs, baby. That's why we play. And here, once more, everyone's covered and the D-line are winning the push. So Brock steps up, fighting through an arm from Hutch, then out scampers Alex Anzalone, looking to get wide, before trying to hit them with the cutback like he's prime Steve Young. Game on the line, and head first he goes again. And these wheels can be used to create throws off schedule. He's not a guy who lowers his eyes amongst the rush. He'll keep them up and find the busted coverage first, then call his own number if needed. So with one game to go, can Brock and the gang finally lift the Lombardi? Well, facing Reed and Mahomes, they're gonna need points, and lots of them. Spags' chaos pressure defense sees numerous blitz packages designed to rush decisions, but offers plenty of man coverage on the back end to attack, something Shanahan will be salivating over on film. Expect to see McCaffrey moved around all game in hopes of creating busted coverage. And one can hope Kyle has learned his lesson to keep the ground game going when it's needed in the Super Bowl. With weapons across the offense, and a finally healthy Debo to add another star, there will be receivers getting open. And it's going to be up to Purdy to stay calm amongst Chris Jones and that Kansas City rush and find the weak link. If he does that, they'll have a chance. But we just can't shake this feeling that some patented Mahomes magic may ruin the day for the boys from the Bay.